Hello and welcome back to Pantheon of the Geeks. You join us for another unboxing video. This time we're unboxing the new Nighthaunt spells. We've got the cards there, we've got the dice there, brightly glow in the dark. Underneath this lot we've got the book, which we'll take a look at as well. So there is the spells, which we'll build them at the end. And for now we'll have a look at the War Scroll cards. I wouldn't mind getting them out of there for me. And I'll try and attempt to get these dice out. So this week has been hectic. It's been boiling hot, and I didn't get a chance to do the core book and the General's Handbook, which I will be doing hopefully in the next video. I will do them. I'll be focusing on mainly the armies that we use when I'm looking at the General's Handbook. But stay tuned for that. The one thing I have been doing is I have painted all the Nighthaunt stuff from the starter set.
I'm still painting.
So at least I've done that. Skulls and hourglasses. There we go.
Cool.
These glow in the dark apparently. Obviously they've not had any sun yet, I can't see that. Look cool though. And they roll really well, I'll take that. So we'll use them in the first game, I think. So you've got the cards there, have you?
Yep.
What's that?
You've got similar command points and stuff.
So we've got command points and we have random little things. I imagine they're good for markers or objectives. Cool.
Got the Reichknall.
Yeah, this is a model I really want. It's actually an easy to build kit as well.
Is it?
There's two characters coming out. These, I think the Stormcast one you like.
Yeah.
It might not be that. It might be one on one of those feline, Draken feline things. And this guy, that's what I really want that model. If it comes out this month, I might be tempted to sort of like stretch to get that. She came out today. Not got her. Don't know what I'm going to use in their army yet. I need to work out a proper army list and stick to it for a change. That I really want. I do have the original black coach around here somewhere. Because I was going to actually rebase it and repaint it for using just before they announced this, and I was like, oh, I'll just wait till this comes out. But that is the black coach. I want that one. Which one's that?
Craven King.
Oh, that's a Craven King. That is an excellent looking model. Tempted by that one as well. But the Night Shrouds, we unboxed him last week. There he is, finished.
He looks cool.
I love the two new paints, Hexwraith and the Nightbloom. Especially the Hexwraith, that's got a lot of uses. Alright, I'll probably go to them in future videos, but when you put some Lamenters over it, I'll show you in a sec, it looks completely different. It gives it a really sort of spectral, fiery approach. But there's the Night Shrouds. And then we've got the Night Shrouds again, this time on the horse. I get to show you actually painting models for a change. There he is. And you see there, on the tail, and on that's Lamenters over the top of it. It completely changes the colour into this sort of bale fire. One thing I haven't done, I haven't painted the top cowl and stuff in a different colour. A lot of pictures of him showing a different colour, but when I was painting him, I put that on and I'm quite happy with that. I like the fact he doesn't have the other colours on. I was going to do it in purple to match Nagash, but I didn't in the end. I'm really happy with the colours on these. I think they suit the spectral side a lot. Okay. We have the Guardian of Souls. I believe that is a Guardian of Souls. Again, painted, finished off. Some of that balefire effect on there. I can't stress how easy these were to paint, and that's why they've been done so quick. As soon as I started painting them, I was just in my stride. We've got Spirit Torments and Chain Gas, they come out today as well. I was tempted to get them because you get him and two of these in a box. Dreadblade Harrow. That's going to be another easy to build kit, and I really like them as well. The Lord Executioner. don't think it is out yet. Team Banshee, Karn Wraith, or Cairn Wraith. Glaive's Wraith Stalkers. It's an interesting model. I've not seen that model because he's sort of holding the staff that way, but it's the ones that came in the box set, these guys. So there's one of those guys painted.
That might be from one of the other box sets that have come out.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's possible. Or from if they bring out just a set of these. Looks like, because you see the way he's got the pole,
Yeah,
it's like he's resting on it.
Yeah.
It's like he's pointing maybe and resting that on, so maybe he's like a champion, or maybe he's a banner bearer, I don't know.
Could be.
I haven't seen any banner bearers as such. Got the Grimghast Reapers. I think you might have seen this guy in the previous video. There is the leader with the giant bell. And show you one of the others with the scythe. There we go. Looking awesome. And so I just followed the paint guide they had on Warhammer TV for these guys. If you're interested, just go and watch that. Honestly, apart from a few little adjustments by putting a bit of purple on here and there, like little flowers, or anywhere where there was, like around the edges of the cowl, I used purple just to try and tone it in with my Nagash stuff. Other than that, I've painted them exactly like he's done chain rasp hordes, particularly this guy. You may have seen in the previous video again. All the techniques are on this guy: the fire, the X-Wraith, the Night Bloom, the Night Gloom, the metal techniques. But just followed that exactly. And I've got another example. Oh. And these guys are coming out, Bladegeist Revenants. I would like some of them because I think they look awesome as well. The Mimo and Banshees, they've come out as a four model box set, an easy build one. I was considering picking one up today, but didn't have any in. So it was the only one they didn't have. I'm not surprised, to be honest.
They are nice models.
They are nice models. They will be coming in a future box that I've seen on various sites. They're going to box all the 4 that they released, the Stormcast and the Nighthaunt together, into like a starter box set, a mini starter box set. So see what price that is when it comes out. Got the Death Scythe Haradrons, Spirit Hosts, which have been on our channel before. They need rebasing, they're still on square bases. There you go, still on a square base. Won't be for long. I did a Let's Paint video on those ones. But I will be rebasing them. I'm probably getting some more as well. I use Nikolite Oxide for those. And on this guy, this Executioner guy, this is the Executioner, I actually continued to use Nikolite Oxide on the Spirit Host, and I think it tones in really well with the other 2 colours, to be honest. It just blows my mind how easy these were to paint, to be honest, and how well they've come out. X-Wraiths, Reaper, the Vault of Souls, and the Mortalis Termin Nexus. We shall see those 3 because they're the endless spells at the end. There we go. So I shall pass them back to Chloe, and you can open the book up and take a look at the Nighthaunt book, which is considerably thinner than the Stormcast one.
Yes.
Some of the ghostly writing at the front. Some pictures. The witch that haunts the night. So a little bit about the malignant spirits. I need to read all this stuff, to be honest. Looks good. That's an awesome picture.
That's a cool picture, that.
I think that's that Ryland guy.
Yeah, the guy you want.
And the Knight of Shroud at the front.
Nice.
And some of those other models that I want. Some other models though. The Restless Dead. Something wicked this way coming.
Yeah,
The Rise of the Wraiths. Reign of Terror. The Realm of Death. A little bit about Nagash's Realm. It's Nagash's Realm. Chronicles of Terror. What's this? Ghostly Processions. Alright, so the makeup of the armies base. You've got the Lady Olinda and the Craven King at the top there. We have the Shroud Guard with the Knights of Shrouds and the Bladegeist Revenants. These are probably going to be the formations, aren't they?
Mm.
So we'll get to them at the end. And I'll have some idea of what I want to build. The Lady Olinda, it's a really nice looking model. I'm really tempted to get that one. It's cool. Got the Craven King as well. I think that's an awesome model too. This guy is a definite. Obviously the Knight of Shrouds we've got already. Spirit Torments and Chain Ghosts. Wraith Captains. Wraith Hosts. Spectral Shock Forces. Okay. And then we have some pictures there. Painted models. I have to have a good examination of these, right, see if there's anything we've missed. Obviously there's Knight of Shrouds. I see like the cowls on those are painted sort of in Rhinox hide. I decided not to do that. I was going to do it in purple, like I said. I still think it'd look cool, but I left it with the Nighthaunt green. See, there's the Death Thing. Oh, it's a black coach.
Yeah, that looks awesome. Yeah.
There's some of the Reapers. Oh, there he is. That's the guy.
Oh, who is he?
That's the one.
Stalker.
So he must be the leader. That's a cool base he's on.
Oh, you got a drummer there.
I wonder if he's one of the ones. Are they Grave? I wonder if he's one of the
Raid Stalkers.
easy to build ones.
Deathbeat drummer.
Oh, they're all small, aren't they? It's all good. Oh, there's the. That's the best picture I've seen. I've seen some small pictures of those, the Haradrins. They're good as well. That's all you're going to hear from me on any of these. These are really good. I don't know why, I'm just really drawn to them. Painting Nighthaunt. Blue Spirits, Green Spirits. Kind of used both of those. Well, to brief, I covered the whole thing in Hex Wraith, and then I covered the top half in the Nightwing. And so that Hex Wraith still comes through the blue, but the blue changes the colour of it, so it just looks all spectral. Really cool. But originally I was going to do something a bit more like this, but have this in purple. But after I used the night blue, I was just like, no, I'm going to stick with that. How to do rusted metal. Again, that's a good guide, that's on the thing. A verdigris weapon variants. I like the green sword. That looks cool. Balefire. You can do it with Beltan. Comes out very similar. Candles. There's not 4 candles there, there's only 3. Lantern glow. Speak. That's a good idea actually. Show that guide, that's cool. Other details. I'll proper read of that later. Shock and Terror. Okay, so Allegiance abilities. Here we go. Onto the meat of the army. Feel free to pause this. I will have a quick read through though, because I want to know now rather than wait to the end of the video to read. Okay, Aura of the Dead. Subtract 1 from the bravery characteristic of enemy units while they're within 6 inches of a friendly Nighthaunt unit. Nice. Deathless Spirits. Roll dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to a Nighthaunt model from a unit that is wholly within 12 inches of your general or a friendly hero. On a 6+, that wound or mortal wound is ignored. From the underworlds they come. Instead of setting up the Nighthaunt unit on the battlefield, you can place it to one side and say that it is set up in the underworld. Sounds familiar. Mm-hmm. As a reserve unit, you can set up one unit in the underworld for each unit set up on the battlefield. At the end of your movement phase, you can set up any of these units from more than 9 inches from enemy models. This counts as their move for that turn. Any units which are not set up on the battlefield before the start of the 4th battle are slain.
It's slain.
That's exactly the same rules
As
as
the
Stormcast.
Celestials, yeah.
Feed on terror. Each time an enemy unit fails a battle shock test, pick one friendly Nighthaunt hero within 6 inches of that enemy unit. Heal 1 wound that has been allocated to that hero. Nice. Wave of terror. If you're making a modified charge roll of a 10 plus for a friendly Nighthaunt unit, it can fight immediately after you complete the charge move. This does not stop the unit from being picked to fight in the combat phase of the same turn. Nice. Command ability, Spectral Summons. A Nighthaunt commander can call on ghostly minions at his side for an instant, wherever they may be. You can use this command ability at the start of your movement phase. If you do so, pick a friendly Nighthaunt unit that's on the battlefield. Remove that unit from the battlefield and set it up wholly within 12 inches of your general, and no more than 9 inches away from enemy models. This counts as their move from that movement phase. Sorry, that's more than 9 inches away from enemy models. It's like all other sort of rapid redeployments are always 9 inches away, aren't they?
Yeah.
It says at the bottom, returning slain models. Several Nighthaunt abilities allow you to return slain models to a unit. When you do so, set up the models one at a time, within 1 inch of a model from the unit they're returning to. This can be the model you return to the unit earlier in the same phase. Slain models you return to a unit can only be set up within 3 inches of an enemy unit if one or more models from that unit are already within 3 inches of an enemy unit. Okay. So, command traits. There we go. Shades of Death. And the spell laws. I'll show you them now. I'm going to have a read through them both. Command traits. Hatred of the Living. You can reroll to fail hit rolls for attacks made with this general melee weapons unless the target has the death keyword. Terrifying Entity. At the start of enemy movement phase, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of this model. If the roll is equal to or greater than the enemy's bravery characteristic, that unit must make a retreat move in that movement phase. Lingering Spirit. Add 1 to the general's wounds characteristic. Spiteful Spirit. Roll a dice each time you allocate a wound to this general that was inflicted by a melee weapon. On a 5+, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound after all of his attacks have been made. Cloaked in Shadow. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with missile weapons that target the general. And Ruler of the Spirit Hosts. At the start of your hero phase, you can pick a friendly summonable Nighthaunt unit within 9 inches of this general and return D3 slain models to that unit. The returning models must be set within 9 inches of the general. Spell laws, we have Soul Cage, which is a cast of 6. Successfully cast, pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Until the start of your next hero phase, that unit cannot retreat. In addition, until the start of your next hero phase, that unit cannot fight in the combat phase unless all the enemy models that are eligible to fight have already done so. Spirit Drain. Spirit Drain has a casting value of 4. If successfully cast, pick an enemy model within the 80 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Roll a number of dice equal to that model's wounds characteristic. For each 6+, that model's unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Lifestealer. Lifestealer has a cast value of 7. If successfully cast, pick an enemy unit within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. For each mortal wound suffered by an enemy unit, you can heal 1 wound allocated to the caster. Reaping Scythe. Reaping Scythe has a casting value of 4. If successfully cast, pick one of the caster's weapons. Until the start of the next hero phase, you can reroll failed hit and wound rolls for attacks made with that weapon. Shade Mist. Shade Mist is a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick a friendly Nighthaunt unit within 12 inches of the caster that is visible to them. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks that target that unit until the start of your next hero phase. Spectral Tether. Spectral Tether has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, pick a friendly Nighthaunt hero within 12 inches of this caster and heal D3 wounds that have been allocated to that unit. So next up we have the Artifacts of Power. And we have the Relics of the Underworlds. And we have the Infernal Lanterns. So the Artifacts of Power, Shadow's Edge, pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. If an unmodified hit roll for an attack is made with that weapon is 6, it inflicts D3 mortal wounds. Reaper of Sorrows. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. Before attacking with that weapon, roll 2d6. If the roll is higher than the target's bravery, that weapon's rend characteristic is -3 for attacks made against that unit. Balefire Blade. You can add 1 to that weapon's damage characteristic. Slitter. Yep. After picking the bearer to fight, before they pile in, you can pick one enemy model within 1 inch of the bearer and roll a dice. If the roll is greater than that model's wounds characteristic, it is slain. Nice.
Nasty.
It's forged from the shivs and cutthroat razors of 1,000 serial killers. Sorry, I was just reading it. Yeah, I know, I get it. Slitter, like throat slitter. Yeah, of course. Yeah, okay. Headsman's Judgment is next. I just feel like I need that weapon now, just because it's Headsman's Judgment. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons, add 1 to the hit and wound rolls for attacks made with that weapon. And the Shrieking Blade. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target the bearer. So the relics of the underworld with the Cloak of the Waxing Moon. The Deathless Spirit's battle trait negates wounds inflicted by melee weapons that are allocated to the bearer on a 5+ instead of a 6+. Pendant of the Fell Wind. You can add... Yeah.
What was the dramatic pause for? There wasn't.
There was no dramatic pause.
And then there was a look as well. You guys didn't see the look that he just shot at me.
You can add 3 to the normal moves made by a friendly Nighthaunt unit that will hold within 12 inches of the bearer at the start of that normal move. Dreadbolt Rings. When the bearer fights, they inflict 1 or more wounds with melee weapons. You can inflict D3 mortal wounds on 1 enemy unit within 3 inches of the bearer after all of the bearer's attacks have been made. And we've got Mirror of the Screaming Soul. Good. At the start of your shooting phase, roll 2d6 for each enemy unit within 8 inches of the bearer. The roll is higher than the unit's bravery characteristic, suffers a mortal wound. Midnight Tone. The bearer becomes a wizard. You're a wizard, Harry, and knows the Arcane Bolt and Mystic Shield spells, as well as 1 spell from the Lore of Underworlds. They can attempt to cast 1 spell in each of your hero phases, and attempt to unbind 1 spell in each of the enemy hero phases. If the bearer was already a wizard, they can attempt to cast 1 additional spell in each of your hero phases instead. That's pretty powerful. You just turn a character into a wizard.
Do you have to say that as well? Do you have to call the character by the name and say, you know, you're a wizard, Keldrake?
Yeah. You're a wizard, Keldrake. Yes. You have to do it like that. That says it in the rules.
Does it? Excellent.
I've just written it on my head.
Loving it.
Okay. And we have the Covetous Familiar. At the start of the combat phase, roll dice for each enemy within 3 inches of the bearer. Or 2+ that unit suffers a mortal wound. Basically, it's a spiteful poltergeist.
Ah.
So the Infernal Lanterns is for the Guardian of the Souls, with a Nightmare Lantern only. So it's a D3 this one, or 3 options. The Light Shard of the Harvest Moon. Sounds like a game, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Once per battle, at the start of the combat phase, the bearer can use his artifact. If they do so, you can reroll failed hit rolls for attacks made by a friendly Nighthaunt unit that fall wholly within the 12 inches of the bearer when they attack in the combat phase. Nice. I've got a Witchlight Lantern. Add 1 to the casting rolls for the bearer. And a Beacon of Nagashizar. The bearer successfully casts a Spectral Lure spell and is not unbound. Instead of the normal effects of the spell, you can either heal D6 plus 3 wounds that have been allocated to the target unit. If no wounds have been allocated to that unit, you can return a number of slain models that have combined wounds characteristics equal to less than D6 plus 3. So, we have Battle Plan, the Death from Within. I'd like to turn the page first. And Path to Glory rules. And Warbands in Path to Glory. Now we have the War Scrolls. War Scrolls. So we have the Nighthaunt Procession, which is there, but I should read it out. That's a Shroud Guard, 6 War Scroll battalions chosen in any combination from the Condemned, Chain Guard, Execution Horde, Death Riders, Death Stalkers and Shrieker Hosts. So the next one is the Shroud Guard for a start. There we go. See that one? So sorry, the Nighthaunt Procession, the ability that gives you is Bound Beneath Indomitable Will. Roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to a friendly Nighthaunt model from this battalion within 12 inches of your general or friendly Nighthaunt hero. On 6+, the wound is negated. This battalion is part of the Nighthaunt army. It replaces the Deathless Spirits battle trait for all units in this battalion. Okay. Shroud Guard. 1 Knight of the Shrouds, or rather than call the Grimhaler, and 2 units of Bladegeist Revenants. And that gives Frenzied Fervour even. Roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to a Bladegeist Revenant model from this battalion, wholly within 12 inches of the Knight of Shrouds, or rather than call the Grimhaler, from the same battalion. On a 5+, that wound and mortal wound is negated. If you use the ability, you can also use the Deathless Spirits trait to try and negate the same wound or mortal wound. And we've got Death Riders, which is a must for me. So there's the picture, and there are the Death Riders. So that is 1 to 2 Dreadblade Harrows, 2 units of Hex Wraiths, tick, because I do have 2 units of Hex Wraiths, we do between us.
Yes.
And 1 Black Coach. Yep. So Spectral Spearhead, I'd want to charge rolls for units from this battalion. In addition, you can make an unmodified charge roll of a 9+ for a unit from this battalion. It can fight immediately after you complete the move charge. It does not stop from being picked. So basically it's like the ability from Wave of Terror. It replaces Wave of Terror, it says it there. Instead of 10 inches, it's 9 inches. And you're adding +1 to charge rolls, but it's an unmodified 9+ you need. So we have the Condemned next. There are the Condemned. That one is 1 Spirit Torment, 1 unit of Chain Gas and 2 Chain Rasp Hordes. And each Chain Rasp Horde must contain 20 models. And that's the Cruel Taskmaster's ability. You can re-roll failed hit rolls for attacks made by a Chain Rasp Horde. Units from this battalion, while they're wholly within 15 inches of this battalion's Spirit Torment or Chain Ghasts. Next up we have the Chain Guard. That's their abilities, isn't it? So that's 1 Guardian of Souls and 2 Chain Rasp Hordes. Each Chain Rasp Horde must be 20 models. It's the heart of the Horde. Each time a Chain Rasp Horde from this battalion is affected by a Spectral Lure or Temporal Translocation spell cast by the Guardian of Souls, you can return D6 slain models to that unit, in addition to any models returned to that unit by the Spectral Lure spell. Next up is the Execution Horde. Focus camera, focus. I think I surprised at them. Focus. And this one is 1 Lord Executioner and 3 units of Spirit Hosts. And the Headman's Masses. Yeah, that's what it is, Headman's Masses. Spirit Swarms that accompany an Executioner's Horde. The Master serve to distract the prey whilst he delivers the killing blow. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target the battalion's Lord Execution while Spirit Host unit from this battalion within 6 inches of the attacker's unit. In addition to add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by the Lord Executioner while any Spirit Hosts from this battalion are within 6 inches of the target. Oh, next up we have the Death Stalkers. That's 1 Karn Wraith, 2 units of Grimghast Reapers and 2 units of Glaive Wraith Stalkers. That's soul mark prey. After being set up is complete before the battle begins, pick 1 enemy unit to be soul marked. Add 1 to all hit and wound rolls for attacks made by units from this battalion against that target. Next one is the Shrieker Host. See, there's not one of these I've looked at and thought, nah, I don't want that in my army. Sometimes, even when I went through some of the other books, I'm like, I don't want that in my army, I'd rather have one of the others. But every single one of these I've looked at so far, I'm like, that'd be so cool. Even this one, which is 1 Tomb Banshee, 2 units of Dread Scythe Harridans, and 2 units of Memoan Banshees. It's Mournful Wailing. Reroll battle shock rolls of 1 for enemy units that are within 6 inches of any units from this battalion at the start of the battle shock phase. In addition, the Inspiring Presence command ability cannot be used or on enemy units that are within 6 inches of any units from this battalion. There we go. That's the battalion war scrolls. Then we're on to the actual unit war scrolls, which again are online and on the war scroll cards. So to be honest, they're just in here for completeness. So.
Yeah.
So there they go. Night Shreds, Guardian of Souls, Spirit Torment, Chain Ghasts, Lord Executioner, Team Blaze there, Karn Wraiths, Mass Reapers. Nothing. I don't think we've missed anything. X-Wraith, Spirit Host, Black Coach, Reapers, Vault of Souls, and which battle profiles. So that's just the same as in the General's Handbook again, because this is coming out so close to it, I think. Because one of the things I was looking at in the General's Handbook is the Memoan Banshees, because you get 4 in that box, and I was thinking, well, how many do you need for a unit? And the answer is 4.
Alright.
It's the same with the Glaive Wraith Stalkers. If you look in there, 4 is the minimum size.
4
but you get 5 in the starter box set, which is weird. So, but you do get 4 in the easy to build one. So there we go. So that's not too bad actually, to be honest. That's cool. That's a cool book. I need to read it out. There we go. That is the Nighthaunt book.
Cool.
Yep.
Very nice. Nice and thin.
Sorry?
Nice and thin. You'll probably read through that quicker than I will.
Yeah,
mine's is massive.
You'll still be.
I'll still be reading this time next year.
So here we have the endless spells for Nighthaunt. Particularly love a look at that size. It's nice. Although they're all cool. There's the back of it. Here we go. Just like Claro connection.
So you're loving the Nighthaunt. Extras and the fact that you've got new army and stuff.
Throwing some ideas through my brain there. See, after looking at that, even though I like the model a lot, that lady on, I just don't see a place in the army in my head now at all. A lot of those battalions I will be making won't have any use for her. So I like to stick to the war scrolls if I can.
There you go, those are a nice blue colour.
Oh, ghostly. Spectral colour. There we go. Lot parts for that one. Okay, and 3 bases. 2 the same size and 1 Joblog ones for the scythe. So we have the Vault of Souls first.
Right.
See that on there. It's A4 and A6. And then A5, which makes the chest and sort of the contents part of the chest. And then we have a lot of fiddling to do with these spells. A10, A9, A12 to A11, A14 to A13, A16 to A15, and A18 to A17 to make these skulls. And then they fit into the chest. So let's put the chest part together first. We got the.
There we go.
Still, it's a lot like the one from the objectives.
It is actually, yeah.
Then we got those 2 bits just go together. There's a space in the bottom because obviously it's elevated, isn't it? Then we have this bit. Need to file those bits down, but that will go in there. So I'll stop the video, file these bits down, and get it ready to stick. Well, I'll stick it together, and then we can have a look at the skulls part. Okay, so there is the chest, and then we have each of these, and they just stick on. There's a peg, and it goes onto the front of the skull. It's not very great fitting, actually. I have to push these on and glue them in, and then they will go into the respective places on there. And because of the shape of this, it should only fit in one way. You have to make sure you cut off anything at all to make sure they, like the bits off the sprue, you can cut them down, make sure they fit in, and they should fit into the corresponding gaps in there. So I'll go ahead and do that. In the meantime, I can cut off the next bit, which is A7, which is the top of the chest, and A8, which is the stand that it's on. So we'll do that. Okay, so that's where we're up to. These skulls go in really stiff, the connections for them, really had to push them in to get them where they are. Filed them down as best I could. There's still these big gaps in the skulls, which I do need to fill because they're annoying me before I paint them. But there we go, that's the sort of ghostly heads coming out of the box. Next up we have A7, which is going to go on there, and we have A8, which is going to fit underneath there, I assume. Which way round does this go? Looks like it does go that way. Yeah, it'll go on there like that. No. Then we'll stick it on the base.
Is it the other way?
No, it's that way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a little sort of indentation part there in the front. Yeah, so we'll put that on, and then we'll get it on its base, which is one of these round ones, and then we'll be back to do the other two. Okay, so there it is, it's finished. I would suggest if you're going to paint this pretty quick after putting it together, don't put the lid on, paint it on separate, because it does cover a lot of the back detail. That said, I'll be using a lot of washes and stuff, so it might not make much difference. That's why I've stuck it on. As I said, I'm going to be filling these gaps on top of the skulls. Other than that, that is the Scooby-Doo box.
Scooby-Doo box.
It does, it does, it does. I do like it though, don't get me wrong, it's not a... I still like it.
Yeah, I see what you're going for there.
Yeah. So the Mortalis Terminexus is next, which is a whole two pieces. It's an hourglass, and it's that bit goes on there and goes onto the base. And there is the scythe, which is literally one big piece, like the pendulum from the original set. So that's just going to go on its base. So we'll glue them together and then we'll have a look at them all three. Okay, so there is the three spell effects together on the bases. This was really difficult to put together.
Yeah, it's not in the instructions. I couldn't see it. They had the Vault of Souls and then the Mortalis Exterminatus, but they didn't have that. And most put out. That was quite difficult to put together, that.
Yeah, it was terrible. So the Vault of Souls first, Scooby-Doo. That is summon a Vault of Souls. Only in a gash or a Supreme Lord of the Undead or a Nighthaunt Wizard can attempt to summon a Vault of Souls. It's a cast of 6. If successfully casts up a Vault of Souls within 18 inches of the caster, it's predatory, can move up to 8 inches, but when you move it, it can fly. Soul Siphon, after this model is set up and is moved, roll a dice for each model within 6 inches of it. On a 6+, that model suffers a mortal wound. That's model, not unit. Soul Eruption, keep track of the number of mortal wounds inflicted by this model. If the total is 20 or more, at the end of the phase, all units within 6 inches of this model suffer D6 mortal wounds.
Ooh.
And then it is dispelled. It's empowered by Shh. If your battle is being fought in the realm of Shh, then the range of the model's soul scythe is increased to 9 inches. There you go, that is the rules.
Nice.
Nasty. We have the Mortalis Terminexus, which is the hourglass next. And that can be summoned only by Nagash, Supreme Lord of the Undead, or a Nighthaunt Wizard. and you can attempt to summon this. Its casting value is 6 and it's set up within 18 inches of the caster. It's predatory, it can move 8 inches and it can fly. This is the Keeper of Mortality. After the model is set up or is moved, the controlling player must decide whether the Mortalis Terminexus will reverse or hasten time. If you choose to reverse time, heal D3 wounds allocated to each unit within 6 inches of this model. If you choose to hasten time, then each unit within 6 inches of this model suffers D3 mortal wounds. It's empowered by as well. So if your battle has been fought in the realm of then the model's Keeper of Mortality ability, whether the controlling player can choose to reverse or hasten time, is 12 inches instead of 6. It just increases its range again. Nice. And finally, the Reaper. So the summon the Reaper, only Nagash, being more than dead, Master of the Universe, can summon, or a Nighthaunt Wizard. It's a value of 7. And it must be set within 6 inches of the caster. It's predatory, 8 inches, and can fly, as before. Sweeping Death. When this is set up, the player who set it up can immediately make a move with it. Its ability is Soul Reaper. Before moving the Reaper, pivot the model in the centre of its base so that it points lengthways in direction, in the direction you wish to move it. Then move it in a straight line. The initial pivot is free and does not count towards the movement distance that the model moves. After it is moved, roll a dice for each model that it has moved over, including models that it moved over when it pivoted. If the roll is equal to or greater than the model's save characteristic, the model suffers 1 mortal wound. That model's unit suffers 1 mortal wound, sorry. If your battle is being fought in the realm of then the Reaper can move 12 inches instead of 8. There we go.
Cool.
Funky, that's the Nighthaunt stuff. I'm going to paint these up like the rest of the Nighthaunt stuff I've got. And I'm going to have a good read of the book and decide on what armies I want. It's one of the things I want to do before I did the General's Handbook as well. So I can show you some armies that I've got together. Other than that, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. And hopefully we'll see you again soon.
See you soon.
Take care for now.
Bye.
And goodbye. Mwah.